is wrongly targeted by law enforcement for 10 years, since he's 21 years of age. And during those 10-year period, there's a systematic abuse of process by the people who claim that other people break the rules, and that's the District Attorney's Office of Fulton County. And what I'd like to call Mr. Sprinkle and prove to this honorable court is as follows. First is what you just heard from. Law enforcement officers and the District Attorney's Office is aware that the Honorable Judge Newkirk found that law enforcement had no right to go into Mr. Williams' home in July 15, 2015, take devices. The prosecution does not restore those devices. You already ruled, I know Judge Newkirk ruled, but that's part of the issues. What right does the prosecution, the District Attorney's Office, have to keep that property and then to send it to Cellbrite without a warrant and have it searched? I want the court to consider that. Then I want the court to consider the following. The fact that the District Attorney's Office did not go back to a judge and say, we have this property, we're supposed to give it back. We are doing another investigation, we want another search warrant. They just go and Cellbrite, I would introduce through Mr. Sprinkle, says, as a courtesy of the District Attorney's Office, we're going to look at this device. I would like the court to have that in its breast when deciding whether there's extreme prosecutorial misconduct. Then what happens is grand jury subpoenas. I'm not moving to suppress anything at this point. I'm not waiving any argument, but I'm not moving to suppress. But this is how the grand jury subpoenas were given out in this case. And it's not only Hertz, it is every grand jury subpoena. I've attached them to the motion. And what the grand jury subpoena shows is that from his office, presumably, Mr. Sprinkle is on every one of these. He has a district attorney seal.
Yo, chat, real quick, not breaking news. This is exactly why I had to sit that thing on. I can't read it verbatim. Why my mama gonna text me and said, she says, hey, she said, why your auntie called me and told me you're on TMZ and says you're defending yourself against
such egregious misconduct by the District Attorney's Office.
So you're saying you'd like to examine Mr. Sprinkle for his motives, for as to why that he
thugga.
Why he sought these particular
out. That's the thing y'all watching right now. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment, get on YouTube.
I want to subpoena. Well, I've had subpoena. I want to call Deputy District Attorney Mr. Sprinkle, because I want to ask him why he believes he had any right, which I'm contending violates Mr. Williams' rights to due process, as stated in State versus Lampel, LAMPL, 296 Georgia, 829. It's in Division 2, 2015 case. It's in my motion entitled Mr. Williams' motion to dismiss indictment and or motion to suppress evidence filed on 11/3/2022. And what the Supreme Court of Georgia held was it is an extreme remedy to dismiss an indictment or account thereof.
Real quick, I see someone in the chat asking one of my subs, RT No Class, update me on what happened with the cell phone. The cell phone's out of here. They're now arguing about a very important piece of evidence. They're trying to connect Young Thug as some kingpin who took out a car from Hertz, gave it to the basically foot runners and say, yo, you niggas go do a murder, okay? That's what the prosecutor believed. That's why they believe that car was connected to the murder of Nut, because allegedly that was a car used. They're trying to suppress that, but it doesn't look like the judge going for this. They did go for the cell phone. The cell phone's out of here, where he was talking all this, yo, we young slime niggas gotta die for the cause or sacrifice, all that shit.
That's major. Man, if he could get a couple of these thrown out, they ain't really got no case no more.
Nothing to do with this motion. This motion is not a motion to suppress. It is a motion based upon a violation of due process rights, because everyone here, I assume, joined the motion. Everyone here is suffering from the state of Georgia's unlawful
Right now, they're trying to do a pretty much a motion or argument to dismiss the whole case, saying that the prosecutors have just taken too much cuts in the corners that this should even be a case, and they've violated everybody's rights. They should throw this whole thing out. I think this is going to get shot down.
296, Georgia, 892, Division 2, 770 Southeast 2D, 629, 2015. I had the honor of representing Mr. Lample. On that case, it went to Court of Appeals of Georgia, then the state sought certiorari, and that's how the Supreme Court got that case. He's the mayor of Amara. Mr. Lample's the mayor of Amara.
Okay. All right.
And that's why I would like to call Mr. Sprinkle, because he's sending out under the auspices of a grand jury subpoena with the district attorney seal, without the clerk seal, outside our state. They're taking evidence from Mr. Williams' home, not returning it, searching it, regardless of Judge Newkirk's finding. And then, Your Honor, what I'd like you to consider, and Mr. Sprinkle would be asked, there's a recording in a grand jury, and it happens on June 15, 2018. Mr. Sprinkle and law enforcement officers who are present in this courtroom subpoenaed a woman named Ms. Morton, M-O-R-T-O-N. They brought her before the grand jury in Fulton County. They didn't like that she wasn't talking with them. They put her under oath. And they said, it's Mr. Sprinkle is said on recording right at the beginning. It's at 10 seconds of the recording. He says, because in Georgia, it's not an investigative grand jury unless the court deems a special purpose grand jury. It's not federal court where you could do an investigation. The state of Georgia, you need a proposed bill of indictment already against the person and what the charges are. State of Georgia versus Brian Steele, here are the charges. What Mr. Sprinkle tells the grand jury is, this is not an indictment under consideration. We are just here to hear Ms. Morton testify. That's not valid. So I'd like to ask Mr. Sprinkle what right he had to use the grand jury as a district attorney's investigative tool. Those are my five issues.
It's the kind
search
of
warrant, the search of the devices which already ruled. Why did that happen? Why did the subpoenas come without a clerk? Third one is, why would the subpoenas go outside of the state of Georgia? The fourth one is, why wouldn't you return the property? And the fifth one is, why would you bring a human being before a grand jury when you don't have a real bill of indictment, and you tell the grand jury that this is not a bill of indictment under consideration? What right does the district attorney have? And that's why I subpoenaed the young man.
Okay.
Your Honor, the defendant still has not addressed the issue of standing as any of the.
He's indicted.
No, Your Honor. The conduct that he is complaining of, he has to have been agreed. He has to have.
You don't even know what to say after that shit. Boy.
An expectation as it relates to that conduct.
I think that's what he's asking me
And
to
the judge
test.
about sick of her.
I think that's what he's asking me to test. And he's also saying, hey, he's an aggrieved person because he's under indictment for these bigger charges. So,
and Your Honor, if I may, I don't know why Mr. Steele cited Lample in his brief.
They jumped the gun on this. I'm telling you, they
because
jumped the gun. This is why they let Gunner go.
Supports the state's position in this case. In Lample, a special purpose grand jury investigated the defendant and subpoenaed that defendant. In this case, it isn't even that the defendant was subpoenaed to testify. He is talking about a person who didn't even yield information that was used against him. He is asserting that actions that he has no right to complain of should be somehow used as a basis for dismissing a lawful indictment against this defendant. So he is, I guess, attempting to leverage the court's ruling previously into something that simply doesn't exist. He does not have a right to complain of the actions he asserts were unlawful or improper. He simply doesn't. And he hasn't addressed his being indicted on alone does not give him standing.
He ain't making no
To
goddamn
argue or to complain about the fact that Ms. Morton was taken before a grand jury, or that a subpoena was sent to a corporation or a company or an entity that the defendant has no expectation of privacy in. He simply doesn't get past that initial threshold. And by continuing to fold one argument into the other, he attempts to subvert what the courts
Why does shit keep happening in chat? Anyway, we here, man. Let me know if we're getting any other updates. They're trying. I don't think this is, they're trying to get the whole case dismissed. Man, the prosecutors need to. Okay. So had a song called "Take It to Trial." I feel like I bet 100,000 this shit. Gunna's still in the.
Well, that seems to be most of the good parts. I'll keep you guys updated as this keep going on. I'm kind of liking this case right here. It kind of show how they jumping the gun and really targeting a lot of rappers that's out here, and they're not even doing it properly. Most people don't know, in most cases they are sloppy, especially in some cities where they thirsty for people. They are super sloppy about how they go about it. It's just really up to your lawyer to put that work in to be able to get a lot of these cases thrown out. That's how NBA Youngboy was able to just beat a case recently. There's other people who have beat cases off of the same kind of technicalities. So it's good that he has a great fucking attorney in here. Had Gunna just waited, he might have been able to get some evidence thrown out that would have had him walk regardless. Not exactly sure why he copped out. But hey, also, I don't know if you guys know, but the co-founder of YSL copped out earlier this week, and he was sentenced to time served, and he got some probation afterwards. If I was Thugga and arrested him, that's the dude I would be worried about. I'd be worried about the goddamn co-founder saying that this was a gang. We started this gang in 2012, me and Young Thug, and winded up with probation afterwards. Like, if you the goddamn co-founder, ain't no way you getting less time than the goddamn rapper. That don't even make no sense right there. That means you didn't tell everything. You told everything. You walk right up in the court, and it was like, hey, he walked right in there. Hey, what y'all want me to tell? Everything? Oh, I got some shit for you.
This shit right here, nigga. This shit right here, nigga. Right here. This shit, nigga. This shit.
Oh, yeah, he was in there blabbing away, talking about everything. But as I get some more information on this, I'll definitely tap in with y'all. I ain't really touched the Tory Lane case like that because there's so many different people covering it, but I guess I can speak about it now. I don't think Tory did a goddamn thing. I think Tory stayed silent because, as men, our job usually is to protect the women. You don't want to be the guy out there saying, hey, it was actually her homegirl that boomed at her because they got into a fight and Meg Donkey Kong punched her wig off. Like, that's the truth. That's what happened. Like, Meg big ass Donkey Kong punched her goddamn wig off on God. And it was up ever since. And I believe, in her drunken state, she stumbled her ass back to that car and bust some shots at the ground in that direction just to let her know I ain't playing. You ain't just gonna be beating on me like that. But that case is looking great for Tory because she just took the stand and said she didn't see Tory with the firearm, nor did she see him discharging the firearm towards Meg. So that's a huge hole in the story right there. Nothing else will make any sense. So I think Tory kind of got that beat. I'm hoping that Thugga can do something about this, because I know I talk a lot about rappers, and I'm not going to say that Young Thug is one of the most positive rappers in the... Hold on. My bad. I'm not going to say that Thugga is one of the most positive rappers I won't say that Thugga is one of the most positive rappers in the world. I won't say that he was out here on the heal the world, stop the violence. I won't say he was out here on that. It seems like he was out here on gang time. Ain't nothing I could do about that. But he has done a fuck ton of good in the community as well. Like, he's well known for helping a lot of the children. And they brought it up in the case, but he was doing this long before he had this case. He takes very good care of his community and the people that surround him. I think he just needed a little bit more time to fully exit the street. And if he wasn't before, if he beats this, he's definitely going to now. This will be the end of all of that nonsense. He's going to come home on his Christian behavior after this, because if he beats this, he dodged a major bullet. But I don't really have no issues with Thugga, because the good kind of weighs even with the evil. So out of all the negative stuff that I can say that he was out here doing, he did a lot of positive as well. And I don't want to take that away from him. I like a lot of the stuff that he was doing. I even like his music. And I know that's shocking to a lot of people, because y'all know I don't listen to a lot of this newer music. But I like Thugga's music. Thugga be slapping. But I'll keep you guys updated on all of this as it keeps coming. If some things get covered too much, don't expect me to cover them. It's 1,000 other people already doing it. Ain't no point in me getting on here dedicating shows to you guys and filling your timeline up with more of that nonsense. Y'all make sure y'all get over to Boss Talk with Lowski. Boss Talk with Lowski on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. You already know. Matter of fact, we're gonna leave rocking out in this motherfucker, because that's what I like to do. I like to rock out. So enjoy some music.
Yeah, New Year, let me get back in my zone. Never settle for the less, cause you know I want more.